Hey guys, welcome back to another video today. Today we have Steve Bullock, the governor from the state of Montana, versus, of course, President Trump. Steve Bullock was elected on the same ballot as Donald Trump from the state of Montana. So, for the first thing we're going to go off is the state of Montana. Where do I think it would go? I think it would go to Steve Bullock. Um, he did receive, the governor's race received more votes than the presidential race, which was very interesting to me. The people of Montana definitely voted differently on the presidential ballot, and then come time for the governor ballot, it went to Steve Bullock, overwhelmingly too. It wasn't by a narrow margin. Overall, I think that Trump's approval rating is not so high in Montana right now, and I've seen a lot of comments on my previous video saying, how do you trust the polls if they predicted Hillary Clinton would win? Number one, they said she would win 272 to 266, and that didn't end up happening. Every single state was within the margin of error with the exception of Wisconsin. The national polls were correct, and I definitely trust these. A lot of you are pointing to the Rasmussen poll. Honestly, you cannot pick out which polls you trust and which polls you don't. You take polls as they are polls. They are things that gauge the national feeling about Donald Trump. You cannot say, I trust this one more over the other because of this reason. No. I understand you may trust it more, but you can't just say this one must automatically disprove every other one. I'm going to turn off the that certification. Sorry about that. But you can't just say, hey, because this poll says that he has a 46% approval rating, that means it must be right. Rasmussen could be wrong. I mean, they're not always right. They weren't right about the 2016 general election in multiple states. So, honestly, I don't see what your argument really is. But we're just going to get through this video. I'm going to talk more about this in a future video. But going to the Western Coast, we know a lot of these states are staying blue, especially against a Trump presidency. Right now, he is probably the worst GOP candidate right now. I mean, a lot of his policies, a lot of his promises he's not following through with. He's making a lot of his base angry. If you look across the country, people in the Rust Belt are definitely turning away from him. But states like Ohio, I think, will retain in this column. We'll talk about that one in just a second. Texas, Steve Bullock is a conservative Democrat, but I don't know how far that would go. I don't know how far the reach would really play. Actually, North Dakota, I want to leave as a toss-up. So these are the safe states. I mean, Steve Bullock would probably carry 3 out of the 4 electoral votes from Maine handedly, but safe states are here. Nebraska, 2nd District, I would leave that one most definitely as a toss-up. But going down to states like Georgia, Arizona, Iowa, actually, Iowa, I want to come back to, but Ohio, these are states that are probably going to go to Trump again. Honestly, these states are becoming more, well, not Georgia and Arizona specifically, but they have a very Republican base. I don't think Steve Bullock can really bring out Republican voters towards him. If Hillary Clinton couldn't do it, I don't think Steve Bullock would do better than her. I mean, she had someone who could appeal to Latinos on her ticket. He's a conservative Democrat. He's someone who appeals to Bill Clinton Republicans, and they aren't really that prominent in states like Georgia and Arizona. Going over to Michigan, though, I think that's a state he will carry, along with almost every single Clinton state. I think a number of these states that Donald Trump essentially lost in 2016 would probably not go to him unless there's an actual horrible candidate on the Democratic side. Going down to the state of Florida, that's a tough one. I think that the state of Florida would go to Trump narrowly, but the state of North Carolina, I think, would go to Bullock. And before you yell at me for this one, I mean, I understand that states like North Carolina are going blue. Florida's probably going blue, but it's the different areas. I mean, sure, he can't bring out African-American voters, but he can bring out a number of Republican voters towards his side. A number of his policies outline Republican. He's really just a conservative Democrat, and I think that'll help him more in a state like North Carolina rather than Florida. Going over to North Dakota, I think Trump would narrowly hold on to this state. I mean, at first I would have given this to Bullock, but I think his rewarding has since gone up in North Dakota. I think he would narrowly carry it. But going over to Nebraska, I think the 2nd congressional district would go to Steve Bullock. Going up to Maine, I do think Trump would win that one electoral vote, considering the big margin he won by in 2016. Going over to Pennsylvania and Wisconsin and Iowa, all states that I think Steve Bullock would carry. And this looks like a crazy electoral map, but going over to Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, Rust Belt states, turning away from the Trump tide, states that he won by less than 2% in each state. Honestly, it's not looking so good for the president. Going over to Iowa, though, he won the state by nearly double digits, but Steve Bullock definitely has the appeal to the people of Iowa. He comes from a rural state, the state of Montana. I think his appeal can grasp voters from Iowa just the same way Barack Obama did. So thank you guys for watching this video. The final electoral tally, 303 for Governor Bullock, to 235 for President Trump. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you all tomorrow.